Will Harris didn't start the no-hitter, and he didn't finish it. But history still had to pass through his hands. This is Astros 65, the Will Harris episode, and we're going back to August 3rd, 2019, when the Astros beat the Seattle Mariners 9-0 at Minute Maid Park. Aaron Sanchez threw the first 6 innings without allowing a hit, but a combined no-hitter is a relay race where nobody can drop the baton. Harris was the first man asked to carry it out of the starter's hands. No save, no dramatic 9th inning, just the 7th and one job that got heavier with every pitch. Now, would you rather pitch the 9th inning of a no-hitter when everybody already knows the game is enormous, the pressure's unbelievable, or the 7th when you're the first guy who can ruin somebody else's masterpiece by not being excellent? Terrifying, right? Anyway, I was avoiding doing the Will Harris episode because, I don't know, it felt strange to have a middle reliever in the 100. But as you can see, he clocked in here at number 92. So I guess that's about right. This is the top 100 Astros based on their wins above replacement value as calculated by Baseball Reference. And I got the pitchers and the hitters all mixed together. So as far as this night goes, Houston entered the night at 71-40, and they're in firm control of the American League West. The trade deadline turned an already terrifying roster into something that was nearly unfair. Zach Greinke arrived from Arizona. Aaron Sanchez and Joe Biagini came over from Toronto. And the Astros weren't trying to just reach October. They're trying to build the best possible machine to survive into November. Seattle's going the other direction. The Mariners come in at 47-65, buried deep last place after beginning the season 13-2. By August, they're a rebuilding club trying to survive a weekend against the most loaded team in baseball. That day, the Astros held their inaugural Hall of Fame induction. It honored Nolan Ryan, Mike Scott, and Larry Dierker. Then the current team added another no-hitter to the family archive. Baseball can be a little bit too neat sometimes, really. William Taylor Harris was born in Houston, Serendipity, 1984, but he grew up in Louisiana and graduated from Slidell High School. He went to LSU, where he pitched and played first base. As a freshman, he and his older brother Clay became the first brothers to start the same game for LSU since, get this, Albert and Terry Bell, 1987. And Harris also helped the Tigers reach the 2004 College World Series. The Rockies selected him in the 9th round of the 2006 draft. Rockies pitchers get perpetually undervalued on the free agent market. Harris's climb wasn't normal. Harris's right elbow started hurting during his first professional season. While still in the minors, he pitched through it for 2 years. Then he needed TJS in 2008. Microfracture surgery on the same elbow followed in 2009. He later admitted he was hurt for most of his first 5 professional seasons. He finally reached the majors with Colorado in 2012 at the age of 27. And then came the transaction wire tour. The Rockies DFA'd him for assignment. Oakland claimed him, then Arizona claimed him 3 days later. Harris spent 2 years with the Diamondbacks, moving between Reno and the majors before Arizona put him back on waivers November 2014. Houston claimed him, and that was the break. The Astros needed Harris healthy. They needed him confident, too. More than anything, though, they needed him willing to use his best pitches more often. Harris threw a cutter that lived in the low 90s and a curveball that could steal strikes and finish hitters. In 2015, his first year with Houston, he posted a 1.90 earned run average over 71 innings. A year later, he made the American League All-Star team. Harris entered that game with the bases loaded and struck out Aledmys Diaz. Remember him? to escape the eighth inning. He won a ring in 2017 and didn't allow a run in 3 World Series appearances. Then 2018 knocked him sideways. His earned run average nearly doubled, to 3.49. Not disastrous, but Houston left him off the ALCS roster. Harris responded by changing the shape of his attack. Harris trusted his curveball in every count. He threw it a career-high 42% of the time in 2019 and paired it with that low 90s cutter, resulting the best season of his career. He finished 2019 with a 1.50 earned run average in 68 games. That led AL receivers and finished second amongst all MLB relievers. It also set a franchise record. He simply made hitters produce the wrong kind of contact. What do you value more in a pitcher? Ridiculous velocity or the ability to walk into any inning and make the situation shrink? Houston jumped on Marco Gonzalez immediately. George Springer walked, Jose Altuve doubled, and Michael Brantley drove Springer home with a double. Alex Bregman's ground out scored Altuve, then Yordan Alvarez, remember him, singled home Brantley. That's 3 runs before Sanchez had to throw his second inning. And Sanchez didn't look like the same pitcher who left Toronto with a 6.07 earned run average. He leaned into his four-seamers up and put his curveballs down. He had Omar Narvaez in the first and issued 2 walks, but Seattle never could find a hit. A soft Ryan Court grounder in the 5th nearly became a hit, but Yuli Gurriel, remember him, fielded it, and Sanchez won the race to first. Altuve homered in the 5th, because of course Altuve homered, to make it 4-0. Houston added 2 more in the 6th when Brantley doubled home Martin Maldonado, remember him, and Altuve. Sanchez completed 6 hitless innings on 92 pitches. So this feels like Aaron Sanchez's story, and for 6 innings, it is. But the story can't remain his unless somebody else agrees to protect it. A.J. Hinch went to Harris for the 7th. Harris knew it was happening, but he later said the inning didn't feel unusually pressurized. And that was probably the exact mental trick required. Don't protect history, just execute the next pitch. Harris retired Kyle Seager. Then, nobody's perfect, he walked Domingo Santana. That brought up J.P. Crawford, who grounded to Altuve. 4-6-3. Harris is out of the inning. 12 pitches, only 5 of them strikes. He gave up a walk, no hits. Wasn't pretty, but it counts. Joe Biagini handled the 8th in his Astros debut. He walked 1 and struck out 1, but he kept the line clean. And Houston kept pouring on. Gurriel doubled in Carlos Correa in the 7th. Brantley singled home Jake Marisnick in the 8th. Then Bregman tripled Brantley home. Brantley finished 3 for 5 with 2 doubles and 4 RBI. Chris Devenski got the 9th. He retired Seager, struck out Narvaez, and ran the count full against Daniel Vogelbach. Then Vogelbach lifted a changeup to right. Josh Reddick settled underneath it, made the catch, and the Astros dugout erupted. Sanchez and Harris had carried the no-hitter through 7. Biagini and Devenski completed the 12th no-hitter in Astros history. It was only the 2nd combined no-hitter the franchise had ever thrown. 6 now, just 9 years later. Think about it. Sanchez he'd only been an Astro for 2 days. His first start ended with 4 pitchers getting drenched by Gatorade together. Hinch praised the clean defense and the energy inside the park. Mariners manager Scott Servais pointed to Sanchez's changed approach, especially the four-seamers and the heavier dose of curveballs. Harris's reaction fit Harris. No grand ownership claim, no attempt to inflate the 7th inning into the 9th. He knew the situation, he did his work, and handed the baton forward. And that's reliever life. You can be essential without being the final image. A combined no-hitter belongs to everybody. But memory doesn't divide itself evenly. The starter gets 6 innings in the headline. The final pitcher gets mobbed at the mound. The middle relievers, well, they get a line in parentheses. But if you remove Harris's inning, there's no celebration. Remove one double play ball, this becomes a fun debut instead of a permanent record. Maybe that's why this is such a perfect Will Harris game. His whole career was built in spaces other people tend to overlook. Excuse me. Houston kept rolling. The Astros finished 107-55, the best record in franchise history at the time. They survived Tampa Bay in the ALDS, beat the Yankees in 6, and reached 7 of the World Series. Then they lost Game 7 to Washington. I hate to keep bringing it up. Well, better than Seattle. They finished 68-94, last place in the AL West. After starting 13-2, they went 55-92. The loss in Houston was their second combined no-hit defeat in less than a month, after the Angels did it to them on July 12th. That's a rough little historical footnote. Harris's season somehow got even better. On September 27th, he threw an immaculate inning against the Angels. 9 pitches, 9 strikes, 3 strikeouts. In the postseason, Harris posted a 1.86 earned run average across 12 appearances. He gave Houston huge outs all October, and then came Game 7 of the World Series. Harris entered with Houston leading 2-1 and allowed Howie Kendrick's opposite field home run off the right field foul pole. It became the defining image of the loss, even though the pitch was well located and Kendrick simply beat it. That winter, Harris signed a 3-year, $24 million contract with the Nationals. He boasted a 3.06 ERA during the shortened 2020 season, but injuries took over. Harris underwent surgery for thoracic outlet syndrome 2021, then had right pectoral surgery in 2022. He never returned to the major league mound after May 22nd, 2021. He became a free agent after 2022, and his final MLB line included 447 games, 23-20 record, and a 2.94 earned run average. He added 21 saves and 452 strikeouts in 420 innings. Now, for a 9th-round pick who spent years wondering whether his elbow would let him continue, that's one hell of a career. Next, we move from a pitcher sharing history to a forward taking the whole game for himself. Excuse me. Well, shit. Blue 16 is Ivan Barbashev. On March 21, 2019, the Blues are charging towards the playoffs. Detroit's in town, and Barbashev enters the night without an NHL hat trick. But he doesn't leave it that way. 3 goals, a 5-2 St. Louis win, and another important piece clicking into place before the Blues' unprecedented championship run. So, what's more fun to watch? A superstar doing exactly what you expect, or a supporting player suddenly owning the entire night? That's Astros 65, Will Harris, in a nutshell. 1 inning, 1 walk, 1 double play. And that's enough for a permanent place in Astros history. He didn't begin the masterpiece, and he didn't sign it at the bottom. He just made sure the ink didn't run. Well, if you're here, thanks for watching, and maybe I'll see you next time.